Hello guys, welcome to my next video tutorial on Java for beginners. In this video, I am going to talk about the static methods in Java. In my previous video, I was talking about static variables and static blocks. If you guys haven't seen that, please check the links in the description text below or check in the playlist Programming Java for Beginners on my channel. So first, let's talk about some facts about static methods and we'll try to understand why we need them. So, static methods belongs to the class rather than object of a class, same as static variables. A non-static method can access static variables or static methods directly. But a static method, for example, main method, can access static variables but not an instance variables directly. Means if you want to access a normal variable or normal method, you require the object that controls that normal variables or normal methods. Means we cannot call a normal variable and methods without having an instance of a class like object reference dot variable name. Okay, and we cannot use this keyword or super keyword inside the static methods because these keywords refer to the object. About this keyword we will discuss in my next video. Okay, so to understand in detail why we need static methods in Java, for that let's consider here we have a class called person, and in this class we have some variables like name, age, number of persons, and we have a method like getName that returns the name of the person, and I have one more method getNumberOfPersons. This method will keep the track of total number of persons. Okay, now let me tell you exactly the process of calculating the number of persons is whenever new object is created. Okay, so here if you take a look, there is an object, let's say Michael is an object of a class person which is having the name, age, number of person variable and method getName with something to return name of the person like Michael. And we have another method getNumberOfPerson. This method will keep the track total number of persons till this object is created. Okay, now after Michael we have one more object Harry of person class which is also having name, age, number of person and getName method, getNumberOfPerson method. Okay, now take a look carefully. Here string name and integer age will be different for this person Michael and for this person Harry. Okay, so this person name can be Michael and this person name can be Harry, right? Same way their age will also differ, right? And this getName method also will return depends on name of the person, right? So these three things, string name, age and this method getName method are depends on the object. They are very based on the object, right? But to keep the track of number of persons, we need to perform the common operation, right? If you have noticed something, this variable number of person and this method getNumberOfPerson does not depends on the name because it is independent of that, and it does not require the age also, and it does not require the help of this method getName, right? So this variable number of person value will increase by 1 if any new object of a person class is created, and this method just return the value of total number of persons, or I can say this method tell how many objects are created. For example, when Michael object is created, that time only total number of objects are 1. Then another new object will create like Harry, that time the total number of objects are increased to 2 from 1. Just simply increase the number of person value by 1 and then get the updated total number of person count, right? Understood? So for this variable and this method, what we can do is, instead of every object working with the separate for this variable number of person and this method get number of person, we can keep this variable and this method common across all the objects. Okay, and this what is called a static variable and static method. Understood? So these two things are common, that's why we are making this variable and method are static. Alright, so in other words, now we are saying this variable number of person and get number of person method belongs to the class person. In other words, any object or anyone can call this variable and this method, right? So now let's take a look in this example whatever we discussed till now related to static. So here there is a class person, and as you know, person can have some attributes. So in this class I have two member variables. One is the name of the person, which is a string type, and one is the age of the person, which is an integer type, right? And I will declare a static number variable which will be integer type, and this variable name I will say the number of persons. Okay, and I will initialize this variable as 0, right? Now I am also going to define one more function, which is a non-static method, public string get name method, which is going to return name of the person, right? Then to keep the record of number of persons, for that I will define one more function, get number of persons. Okay, and I will declare this as static so that it can be shared by all the instances, right? And now I am going to define a constructor which is same as the name of your class person, right? Whenever this constructor is called, I want to increase the value of number of person by 1. So whenever somebody makes or initialize a person class, I want to increase the value by 1 so that we can keep the track of number of persons, right? And for this I have already defined a method to get the value of number of persons. Okay, so this method is public static int, and I will say get number of persons, and this basically is going to return the number of persons, which is this variable, right? Okay, as this method is static method, whenever we call this method, we don't need to call it by any instance. We can call it by the class itself. Okay, now after this we will go to the main class. Here we are going to define some instances of this person class. For example, person Michael is equal to new person, and once again person Harry is equal to new person, right? And now we are going to call our get number of person method, because whenever this constructor is called, we are increasing the number of person by 1, right? So now we will just write system.out.println method, and here we will call the person class itself because it is a static member function. So we can directly call it with the class itself. We don't need to use any instance, right? You can use instance, but it is not necessary. Okay. And when we run the program, you can see the answer is total number of persons are 2, right? Why 2? Because two objects are created. One is Michael and second is Harry, right? So we can see that this static variable and this static method are class members, but it can be shared with these two instances also. To verify this, we can call this member method using Michael instance also, and we can check what is the value of number of person till this time. Okay, and then we will add Harry instance and we will call this get number of person method again with Harry instance. Okay, then again we can check what is the value of number of person after Harry instance. Okay, so just run the program, and if you see, when we add first person, that time value is 1. That's right, because we have added only one person. So number of person will be 1. And when we add second person, then number of person will be 2. Right? Understand? So this member variable and member method, which is a static, was shared by both the instances, and also this can be called by the class itself with both. Right? So this is very basic and important property of static members, that static member can be shared by the instances also, and you can call it using your class itself also. So if you take a look here, we can clearly understand. Here everything is controlled by object. For example, there is Michael object here and another object Harry. It is pointing to an object of type person. And here there are some normal variable like name, age, and normal method get name, right? And normal variables for Michael is different from the normal variables of Harry. Normal method of Michael will perform some work on this normal variables that belongs to the object Michael. Similarly, normal method of Harry will perform some work that relates to this normal variable that belongs to another object Harry. And now if you take a look at this side, at this area where there are no objects, there are just static variable and static method. Anyone can access these methods and variables. So here object control everything, and here at this side we don't need an object, right? So for normal methods which works only with object, you can call a static variable or static methods that does not require any objects, right? No problem. But on the other way around, vice versa, is going to cause some problem, because at this side you required objects under all circumstances, but in this side here you don't require objects itself. If a static method says it wants to access the normal variable or normal methods, it is going to require the object Michael under which the normal variables and normal methods acts, right? In other words, I can say from a static method to access a non-static method, you require objects. that controls the methods or variables. So these are the two basic rules that we need to remember always when we are dealing with static variables or static methods, right? So this is all about the static methods. I hope you understood the basic concept of static method and hope you enjoyed this video. So please rate, comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you.